evening and welcome to Hot News. We are live on Pan-African Television. We're coming to you from our studios in Abilimpe 48 Swanika Street here in Accra. Also live on Facebook at Pan-African Television, YouTube at Pan-African Television, as well as 48 African countries. You can join in the conversation by sending in your views, comments and contributions on our WhatsApp text line displayed on the screen. I'll make a time on this program to read all those out for you. Those of you watching us on Facebook can share the Facebook Live for other people to also watch tonight's edition of the program. You can as well leave your suggestions, questions and whatnot on our social media pages. I'll make a time and of course read all those out for you. Tonight on Hot News, we are looking at litany of issues. What are those issues we are looking at on the show? We are looking at the digitization and digitalization policy of the New Patriotic Party. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, speaking at a conference, told the people that the National Democratic Congress do not really understand the digitization drive. As a result, they are opposition to that. And that could be because the National Democratic Congress doesn't read. I mean, members of the party, the party is not, of course, a human being, but members of the party, don't really like to read, and that they don't understand the policy. I'll play a video of that. We also look at the 1.75% e-levy that has been introduced. You know that the public has been kicking against it. Some experts have been speaking, and of course, people are asking, minorities even asking that is scrapped. And if not, they will kick against it in Parliament. But before I introduce my guests for tonight's discussion, let's go and listen to the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. We'll be right back.
When we talk about digital transformation, our opponents in the NDC have difficulty understanding the link between digitization and the economy. The vision that they have tends to be very limited. And what we see and what we talk about, they do not see. What we say, they do not understand. Sometimes to understand something, you have to read a little about it. But they don't like reading. In the technological age, your mindset must be a mindset of possibilities, not a mindset of impossibilities. Their mindset is a mindset of impossibilities. So whatever we try to do, they say it is impossible. And they will cloud their ignorance by saying that we are lying. Obwa. Immediately you say you're going to do something, they say it's a lie. Because they don't understand it. They cannot see it. And they don't take their time to understand it. And you see this very much in the digitization space. When we said we wanted to bring in drones to help in medical delivery, what did they tell us? Oh boy. They said we were bringing drones to take pictures of people in their bathrooms. These are their PhD holders. But our use of drone technology in the delivery of medical supplies has helped us to overcome many challenges in the delivery of healthcare services to people who live far in the rural areas and far from urban centers. We have saved lives and we are providing more efficient management and distribution of critical medical supplies and gain more equitable access to health in the country. So let us believe in possibilities, not impossibilities. I wasn't surprised with the NDC posture, because in this whole digitization space, because even when we talked about free SHS, they said Ubwa. Isn't it? Free SHS, which is fairly straightforward. They said it was 419. So if someone cannot understand free SHS, how do you expect them to understand digitization? How do you expect them to link digitization with the economy? In that case, you are speaking in parables. They cannot understand.
Right, that was the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. You've listened to the Vice President and the issues he has actually raised in that bite. I've been joined in the studio by Yao Meno, who is a member of the National Democratic Congress Communications team. Yao, how are you doing?
Well.
It's been a while.
Yeah, we've been just joining my boss, Honorable Barbara Sewa. You know, she's a person of the field. You know, so
the Deputy General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress.
Yes, right. Yeah, Honorable Barbara Sewa Samwa,
right,
lawyer. Right. She's a person of the field. She's always on the field working, and that is one of my inspirations. That a lot of the work that we need to do as a political party is on the ground.
Okay.
And at some point, we need to just take a break off and go and be with the people, and come back and do what we are also called to do. So I think we are back to work.
We are back to work. Also in the studio is Mr. George AC, Director of Communications, NADMO, and also a member of the New Patriotic Party Communications team. Mr. AC, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Justice. I'm good by grace. I'm good by grace.
Very well. I'll start with you, Yao, on the digitization and digitalization of the economy. You've listened to the Vice President. He has taken a swipe at your party, let me say party members, for opposing, that policy. Any response?
Thank you, Justice. Let me say a very good evening to the good people of Ghana. And let me also say a very good evening to my party chairman, Samuel Ofosu Akpofo.
Right.
For the good work he's doing for our party. We do appreciate it. And over the weekend, he was quite busy moving from one region to the other. And we appreciate, and the good members of our party are seeing what he's doing for the party, and we appreciate that.
Right.
Let me also say a very good evening to my boss, Honorable Barbara Sewa Asamwa. We are here to represent the interest of our party.
I see.
Justice, I also want to say a very good evening to my mother constituency, that's the Ablekuma West constituency. And then before I came here, we were in a meeting, our constituency meeting, which was doing so well. And I commend the executives for putting that together. I must say I'm very happy to see Mr. Isi too. It's been a while. I think the last time we met, we had some fruitful conversations, and today I'm happy to see him again, and I hope we will continue in that.
Right.
Now, on what is on the table, I think the issue on digitization, it's not an issue of insult. It's not an issue of noise making. Justice, I think that, or I'm of the view that nation building is a comprehensive thing.
Right.
And I think that is what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who is the Vice President of the Republic, is refusing to understand. And sometimes I find it very difficult how he tends to appreciate other opinions on the matter. Digitization is not anything new to the good people of Ghana.
Right.
And sometimes I think that the only person who is far back is Dr. Bawumia, who is trying to catch up. And in catching up, he tends to think that everything is new. But I want to say on your show today that when it comes to digitization, it is not new to the good people of Ghana.
Okay.
In terms of its investment in infrastructure and in investment in some of the applications and softwares, it is not new to the good people of Ghana. And the NDC, we see governance as a comprehensive thing, that as you work on digitization, as you work on the economy, education must work, the health systems must work, everything must work. But I think every time what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia wants to do is that where he finds convenient, he invites us to a conversation in it.
Now, he raised some pertinent issues, and I would want you to avail your minds to those issues he raised. That when they talked about importing drones, to help the health sector, to transport blood and all those things to the remote areas where it will be very difficult for, those things to be transported to, you opposed it to an extent that some persons who should have known better, PhD holders in your party, said that, oh, the drones were meant to, as a matter of fact, some funny comments, sort of. He mentioned it.
Justice, let me bring your attention to an information I know you'll be privy to.
Right.
I hope you know about the Mama project. Michigan, there was a Michigan project.
Right.
You remember after the COVID, in the midst of the Ebola, there was this organization, Mama, who wanted to offer some health facilities to us. And they were going to build some regional health centers and assist us with some medical supplies, which included some airplanes and other things. If you recall, the president's engagement with the journalists some time back, a media person from, then he was with Atinka TV, asked the president about it, where the president exhibited ignorance about, and he called his Minister of Health to also come and answer that he could not provide answers for, and that he played being alien to that entire process. So what the party was saying was that there is an already a program that has already been established, and that we needed to make some follow-ups to it. That the health minister was supposed to just do a follow-up and get that program running.
Did the NDC kick against the digitization policy of this government?
See, what digitization project or program is the government doing, and the NDC is against it?
Example is the drone.
So today so when you say that there is a program, the Mama program, that was going to build about 10 regional health centers where medical supplies were going to be there, and you were supposed to follow up, and we could save that money for that project, it means you are against the drone project.
No, so what about the comments that the drones were meant to spy women? I mean, and all of that.
I mean, sometimes
to spy naked women and all those things. We heard those comments. Two of us.
You see, there are times we need to focus on issues that is on the table. Okay. And the issue on the table is that the government want to make investments in drones. And then there is a project there were conversations ongoing, and that we needed the health minister to follow up on it. This is what is important to the good people of Ghana. What is important to the good people of Ghana is that when they need medicine, they will get it. But when they are sick, there is a health facility.
I feel that you are not addressing the issues.
What I'm saying is that
the issues stated. We are talking about a statement emanating from the quarters of the Vice President.
I'm saying that.
He's saying, allow me. He's saying categorically that the NDC sees nothing good with digitization of the economy.
No, and I disagree with.
Listen,
I disagree.
Allow me to finish with my preamble.
I mean,
followed
if you
by
say
my
the
question.
NDC is against,
it is not me. He said it. And I'm saying that
NDC, the drone is a project.
So listen,
and that is not
to the Vice President. No, allow me, to the Vice President. Look, you have exhibited on several occasions that you are against it. To him, anything that this government talks about in terms of digitization, you said in our local parlance, Obwa, on to Minje, he is unable to do it. He's lying to the good people of Ghana. He cited an example of the drones, and that when they intended to import drones, to facilitate, transportation of blood and all of that to remote areas in this country, you kicked against it, and you acknowledged that some of your people talked about the fact that the drones were imported to spy naked women in this country.
And I'm saying that, Justice, what I'm saying is that the issue is, let's not try to say that everything, digitization is just about just a specific thing. That is why I've said that when we talk about governance, governance is a comprehensive thing. governance is a comprehensive thing.
Right.
We don't say this is the only thing we need to do. There are equally important things in governance that you need to look at. At the rate at which we are going with digitization, it is also important that we need to check petroleum prices and the interventions that we need to do to make them stable. At the same time, we need to pay attention to the health sector. At the same time, we need to pay attention to the education systems and the sector. So what we are saying is that, of course, yes, digitization, like I've said, this is not a new thing to the good people of Ghana. Is it today we started doing e-services? It's not today. So if you take a project that you want to do, take a project like the drones that you are talking about as a digitalization project, and then, of course, if that is what you want to do, there was an alternative. And what is the opposition supposed to do? To bring government attention to the alternatives. And that is why I'm saying that get the Mama project and read to it, and you will see what this country, because of, I don't know, the interest that some of the people in the government had, that they just had to let the Mama project go. Because this is going to build about, we're going to get like 10 centers, because at that time we had 10 regions. We're going to have 10 centers. Then we're going to do medical supplies. And this was going for free. So if someone is providing you something for free, and someone says that you need to pay for something, and they are all going to deliver on the same purpose, Justice, which one do you go for? Which one do you go for? So we should clap for you that something you could have had for free. Because Dr. Bawumia says that for him to have a name on something, we need to commit government and taxpayers' money to it, and then we need to clap for him. I won't do that. And these are the things that are important to people. People getting facilities when they are sick, they will get access to health care. When people want their children to go to school, they can go to school with the assurance that they will be there for a period, that they will get good education. And we need to look at this comprehensively. And we cannot always and you don't zone digitization to drone. When you know that we started e-services where people could apply for passports, where people could do government, people could deal with government on these same platforms. These are not new to people. So we need to bring our attention to the fact that when we are invited to a conversation to digitalization, as if something new has happened, something new, it is only Dr. Bawumia who is far back and need to abreast himself of things that has happened. As we speak today, internet penetration is less than 50%. Or at best 50%. But for the intervention of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, that we could put a project that's linked at the fiber cable, about 1,000 km fiber cable, to connect about 6 regions. Sometimes I want us to begin to have conversations that, okay, this were some of the investments that Mr. Mahama made. Dr. Bawumia, what investment have you made in that regard? Have you been able to increase the penetration, internet penetration? Let's have those conversations that, okay, we came to meet this. We have been able to add this to it. Then we can be making progressive conversation. But if you take us back to have yesteryear's conversation, I think the vice president must be progressive. We can't be having yesteryear's conversations. This is a country that needs to progress. This is a country that has the potential to be at a place that we don't need to be now.
But to the vice president, you don't see what they see. And as a matter of fact, the members of the National Democratic Congress, you don't like to read. Because if you read, you would understand what it means to digitize an economy and all of that. Justice, you see nothing good
Justice,
with the digitization.
If Dr. Bawumia himself was reading his notes, if Dr. Bawumia himself was reading his notes, he wouldn't be committing some of the errors he's committing now.
What errors has he committed?
Did he not say that he was going to tow the roads to build roads? Or he said it in passing? Or it was like when we were kids and we were playing football, we said that stomach direction. Was it a stomach direction thought? Was he not the one who said that it wasn't important for you to tax people who were using Momo because they were poor people? Was it a stomach direction thoughts? So if he himself was reading his notes, So I'm beginning to think that our vice president, his thoughts are stomach direction thoughts, but these are not things he put down for the purpose of records. Because in the last few days, all we have been seeing is the things that he has said. Or is the herbal promise to a stomach direction thought? So maybe he's not also, if he's reading, or perhaps maybe the president too is not reading, because you can't be putting something in your own manifesto, and then when you are questioning, you say that we need to check it, and it was a mistake. Then is this a reading party? If the contract that you want to sign with people, the contract you want, the social contract you want to have with people, you can even forget, and you don't even know what is inside, and you say you read. So you see, clearly our vice president is a stomach direction thought philosopher or thought thinker or something like that. I don't know the best words to describe him. But I think that our vice president, he's the only person who is far back. And the people who are hailing him and clapping for him, it's quite unfortunate that they have allowed themselves to also be taken back. Because when we started enjoying what digitization brings to an economy, it is not today.
When?
We started enjoying this. Look at the impact of the Accra Digital Center. Today, people who want to take professional exams, that they don't want their internet to distract them, can go there. This was an investment made by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Go to UHAS and see the fiber cable that has been that was laid there. Today, students at University of Health and Allied Sciences, they can conduct research. They can the faculty can also improve themselves in teaching, and which is helping teaching and learning. Right. So I'm saying that the only person, when it comes to this conversation, who is far back, apart from Dr. Baumia and his MPP, who think that something new has happened, I don't. Now, just to add, I know we will enter into that conversation, but you see, when we're living with our Mahama, you see, when we're with our Mahama, and he did the 1,000 kgs, 1,000 km rural fiber network from Accra to Boko, he didn't tax us. When he built the Accra Digital Center, he didn't come to tax us. When he connected the fiber cable to UHAS, he didn't come to tax us. But today, Dr. Baumia came to fix a digital address on in front of our house. And today he wants to tax us. And this is the clear difference. These are investments. I can mention number of investments that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama did in this digital age, and when he was taking us, that he did not come to tax us. And today, Dr. Baumia says that you have a digital address in front of your house, which already Google was providing for us, and all that, as I say, and all those things were providing for us. Today, Dr. Baumia is doing, and he says that he needs to tax us. And this is some things we need to take serious in this country. Right.
Thank you so much. That was Yao Meno, a member of the National Democratic Congress Communications team. Now let me move to Mr. George AC. Mr. AC, I believe you've heard the Vice President on the digitization and digitalization of the economy. He has taken a swipe at the National Democratic Congress. According to him, they don't like to read. And if they had read, they would have understood the policy and know what it means to digitize the Ghanaian economy. He has responded. Your take on that?
Yeah, thank you, Justice. Good evening to you. Good evening to my brother, Yao. Good evening to our viewers. The Vice President was on point. Why? When he had the lecture at Ashesi University, the NDC said he had run away from economic issues on the economy. Right. And was now lecturing on to digital matters. Then he said, wait a minute, what are they saying? You get it? Did they actually listen to what I said? Then they went further to say, eat that, what will it do for you? Okay? These digital things, digitization and digitalization thing is not going to put food on anybody's table. And I say, hey, do they actually understand what we are talking about? Okay? That is what made the Vice President decide to engage and then put a brighter light on the issues under discussion. So that in case our brothers don't actually read, they will begin to read and appreciate what digitization and digitalization is about. Okay, that is what the vice president is putting in perspective. If you permit me, let me read something small on digitization and digitalization. Through QC group trying to help business people to appreciate digitization and digitalization in transforming their businesses. So digitization describes the pure analog to digital conversion of existing data and documents. Think scanning a photograph or converting a paper report to a PDF. The data itself is not changed. It's simply encoded in a digital format. Digitization can reap efficiency benefits when the digitized data is used to automate processes and enable better accessibility. But digitization does not seek to optimize the processes or data, right?
Right.
Then we go to digitalization. As Gartner defines it, digitalization is the use of digital technologies to change a business model and provide new revenue and value producing opportunities. It is the process of moving to a digital business. Digitalization moves beyond digitization, leveraging digital information technology to entirely transform a business process, evaluating, re-engineering, reimagining the way you do business. Okay, so it's leveraging on digitization, that is digitalization, to transform and bring efficiency to bear on your businesses. Okay, that is what we are talking about. And so if you say it is immaterial, inconsequential, irrelevant in the scheme of economic management, you don't seem to know what you're talking about. That is what the vice president is saying. And he was right when he said a whole medical doctor said, told Ghanaians the drone services were going to be a modus for, taking snapshots of naked women in their bathrooms. In our part of Ghana, especially in the rural areas, a lot of us bath outside. You get it. The bathrooms are open, are not, roofed. You get it. Yeah. So it was going to put some fear in the people. And I'm not surprised. This is not the first time. When we're moving to the National Health Insurance scheme, a group told the people, we're going to use it to tax the people, and so they shouldn't register. And so if you look at the number, and so a group of people who had leaning to the NDC, most of them were a bit skeptical in registering. Okay, so these are issues that we need to look at, and the vice president touched on things that we think, if you link the digitization and the digitalization to economic matters, justice, as we sit here, we have brilliant ladies who are excellent in cuisines, okay, cooking and co, and they can sit in the comfort of their homes or in their kitchens and then put adverts on social media, right? And then I can place an order that I need ampesi barrier and body with palava sauce and co, and she will send it to me. Okay, she's got a job, and that biker who is bringing it to me will be paid 10 cedis or 5 cedis.
But that wasn't started by this government, because these are systems.
Listen. You see, it's a government. We have decided to place emphasis on that. Okay, and make it a very responsive and an expansive project for the Ghanaian people. And he said in his lecture that the process had expanded from 26% to 50% internet penetration. Had moved from 26% to 50%. And you think it just happened? And it's not true that those things were started under Mahama. Okay? President Kufuor did a lot of things in that arena. Okay, and Professor Mills continued. And so we have been continuing, and we have decided to throw the beam light on it.
But if you agree of that it was started by President Kufuor, through to other, governments before.
And some governments didn't pay particular attention to it. Do you know why?
And I'm talking about the government.
The NDC government, for 8 years, what did they do in the national identification card system? What did they do? Okay, they looked on, and I know why. I have said that free education and national identification things are not good for the NDC. They don't like it, because the more educated, research has found, the more educated
people are, the less likely they are to vote for the NDC. I'm not talking partisan people. I'm talking the objective, independent voter.
Which party do you think they vote for?
No, majority of them will lean towards the MPP. Okay, so if you look, check every research. Okay, so that is the issue, and so they are not too keen on getting, you know, people highly educated, and they are not keen on getting this national identification and code, because you then are able to know how many people are 18 years and above, how many people live in any nook and cranny, and you know, can easily track their voting pattern and how they're going to vote, and which people qualify to vote. These are the facts of the ground. That's why he's saying, look, the NDC, he's surprised that you have a problem with this digitization drive, okay? Unless you say you don't read. If you read, you know it's important. And I was happy my brother was elucidating on the importance and significance of these things. Okay, so some of them read, okay, and get to appreciate the issues, that the importance and benefits that this drive is going to bring into the country. And he said something, my brother, in alluding to something. I'll give you a clear example: the mobile money interoperability. What was their commitment to it? And they were ready to pay $1.2 billion for that, which was eventually done with $4.5 million under this government. Okay, what was it for? Okay, so it's to create a platform of interconnectivity within the telcos and, you know, the banking system or the financial institution, so you can do effective and efficient financial transactions. And we know how beneficial it is to us today. And hence, you know, these drive to these e-levy things. And we have the e-government, a lot of things that are being done, and www.ghana.gov. Okay, the payment platform that is being created by government as we speak. If you want to have your passport renewed or you get a new passport, you go online, okay, because the focus is come there. You get it done. DVLA, you go there, virtually, no guru boy to disturb you, virtually, okay. And so you just go online and you'll be able to have your transaction. You can track this Yango and what's the name of these car services? Oh, what's the name? This car Uber. Good. And this was, Bolt, Yango, Uber services and co. If you take any of them, it is easy. Even if you leave your phone or something in there, it's easy to know, track that particular vehicle. Courtesy digitization, right? And this digitalization drive and co. And so what the vice president is saying is drawing the attention to, you know, the importance and significance of where we are today and the direction we need to go. Even if you don't like the MPP, this is a very important, effective and efficient move that we are making. All of us should pay attention to it and not, you know, condemn it and say it's not important.
But is the vice president suggesting that if government wants to come out with a policy and there's an opposition who thinks that we have alternatives, we should look at those alternatives? They don't read and they are becoming naysayers and all of that, just as he tried painting a picture in the said video.
So why it baffles me, just as it baffles the vice president, that a top opposition party as the NDC will go the tangents they are going, will choose that trajectory to condemn his digitalization drive. And if you believe you've laid the fiber optic whatever, which is true, okay, then why are you having problems with the advancement of the thing? Why are you having problem with getting a lot of people on board the internet drive? Okay, why are you having problem? Okay, look at the number of people using mobile phones today. Okay, and all that. People who are virtually, we are gradually drifting towards e-cash economy. Okay, and it's important. It saves people the headache of having to carry volumes of money all the way to, you know, transact business and co. And so if it's good, why are you speaking against it? Or is it because it's not you who is pushing it? Is it because it's Dr. Bawumia who is pushing the agenda, the NDC's greatest nemesis? Okay, so let's Dr. Bawumia felt, let me speak to this issue, because if you leave it and, you know, like that, people will then begin to think it is what the NDC is saying is the truth. Okay, and so nothing is actually happening in the digitization and digitalization front. But it's not true. Something concrete is happening, and people are making good businesses there, okay, and taking advantage of the, you know, internet facilities and presence of social media. A lot of people are taking advantage of it. And so we are looking at moving it even from these 26 to 50, from 50 to maybe 75% penetration, internet connectivity, okay? And then another key thing that we think we need to focus on is the cost of data, right? That is very important that we can bring up as we go. But I believe as the number increases, the cost is going to go down, okay? As the number, this simple economic, basic economics. And so that is, you know, one thing that I'm looking forward to. But as far as the expansion of the frontiers of the use of digitization and digitalization, it's good. It's bringing efficiency to bear.
Right.
It's going to help us to, you know, bring corruption to the minimum, okay?
Right.
Because unlike previously where we do manual recording of payments and all that, and it's not easy to track those payments and co. Digitization, anything you record, you input in the system, it can be tracked how it moved. You get it, where it moved to. And so it's also going to help us to bring efficiency to our work and then check corruption or minimize corruption and corruption-related activity. So the Vice President is, I would just beg the NDC to, yes, you disagree with us, but disagree with us on cogent basis with alternative facts. Like my brother, I will commend him like he did today, but the general one that most of his people are doing, including the doctor and co, I disagree. Look, the drone services are helping people a lot. Last one, Justice. He mentioned a Mama project and all that. Why not? If it's a good project. You see, my worry with the NDC, you touch things and you leave it. You touch things and you say somebody should come and continue and finish. How about project? Yes, but let me tell you something. Last time I came here, I told you something. The NDC, the projects in education alone that they started and didn't complete was 3,897 school building and infrastructure scattered all over. We have completed 1,001. And Justice, if we were to complete all of them, we needed about 3.6 billion Ghana cedis to have completed unfinished projects before we come to our promised projects and co. And so you'll be touching it. And the truth is, the e-blocks, we have finished about 31 of them. They completed only 29. Okay, they make the argument that the Honorable Minister for Energy, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, had said 46. Yes, he said from the handing over notes. So the handing over notes was written by an NDC professor. Okay, and so when we finished that, we did auditing. And the auditing gave the clear picture.
One would have also thought One would have also thought that he had done his checks as to what was in the handing over note before.
No. That's why he was careful in saying from what he read in the handing over notes. And those were early days when he took over as Minister of Education.
Right.
And so he was right in quoting what the previous minister had written.
Right.
And then after that, he commissioned an audit team to go through all that. And when we came, debt in the road sector and co was about 11.2 billion. Ultimately, it turned out to be 5.7 billion.
Kindly step down.
You get it. 5 points after auditing, 5.7 billion.
Right.
Okay. So these are things that we need to look at. Like digitization drive is good for all of us.
Okay.
The NDC, if you disagree for whatever reason, I think it may not help any Ghanaian if we want to go
Right.
over that.
Thank you so much. Viewers, you are still watching Hot News with me, Justice Appiah, right here on Pan-African Television. You can keep your messages coming in. I'll make a time and read all those stuff for you. You can as well leave your suggestions, questions, and whatnot on our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter at Pan-African Television. Now, let's move away from the digitization and digitalization of economy and look at, you know, the 1.75% e-levy. You know, a lot of people have been complaining. We've spoken to Ghanaians. They are kicking against it. Some experts have also been speaking to them. This is quite disastrous, looking at, you know, the burden on the ordinary Ghanaian assistants now for government to have added 1.75% to e-levy. It means that the old lady in that village who can only use mobile money for her transaction is going to be deducted, you know, a huge amount of money. The Minister of Communication, in person of Eslausu, said if you have up to 100 Ghana cedis in this country, it means that you are rich. I don't even know where that statement is coming from anyway, but that's according to the communications minister. I'll come to you, Yameno, on the 1.75% e-transaction levy.
Thank you, Justice. I wish I would use just 2 minutes of my time to clarify some impression created by my senior brother, Mr. Isi.
Well,
like I said in my introduction, that it appears that the MPP, Dr. Bawumia, are a bit far back. And I am happy that some of them, Mr. Isi has actually confirmed them. And one of them is the www.egov that he mentioned. Justice, e-services was started under His Excellency John Dramani Mahamad's administration.
okay.
That we were using e-services. It has only been rebranded to www.gov to get people to have access to those services that were already there. Justice, under the e-services, people could apply for passport. Under the e-services, people could use it to apply for their birth certificate. I used the e-services to apply for my passport. And that was, and so if Mr. Yesi come to sit here, he's only confirming that the MPP and Dr. Bawumia are the only people who are far back, and they are now beginning to see some of the good work that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama did, and they are now beginning to throw more light on it. But you see, anybody who tries to create an impression that the NDC is against the digitization or whatever is going on, that person is creating a very wrong impression.
I think we've had enough of that. We need to
I get that.
Right.
But he mentioned that the internet penetration has moved to 50%. But I was going to appreciate it if he was going to mention some of the interventions, just as I mentioned to us, that about the 100,000 km fiber cable that was laid from Greater Accra to the Boko to connect about 6 regions, about the 300 km radius metro fiber network that was laid in Greater Accra to connect Accra and Tema. I was expecting that Mr. Yesi was going to say they have also increased something. That is what has caused the penetration to go up. They have not done that. And we need to, just like he said, that is what I'm saying, that the only person maybe who is not taking
time on
yes,
that.
who is not maybe taking.
If
I
your
get
time
that.
is up, I'll just move to.
That should be fine. So I'm saying that I think the only people who are far back and they need to abreast themselves and commit themselves to reading and research is the NDC. But
is the MPP, not NDC.
Commit themselves to research and reading. It's our friends from the NPP because it appears that they don't commit a lot to research and to reading.
Right.
Because if anybody in the NPP is reading, I think that some of these conversations, they won't even invite us to it because they will not survive any conversation from that. Now, on the
transaction levy,
I think that reading through the budget, Justice, I came to the conclusion that this budget, if I had the opportunity to name it, I would have said that this budget is a Genasa budget. And for our brothers who are listening to us, that do not have appreciation of the Akan language, I will say that I think that wisdom is finished. Because it takes a lot of brainstorming, work, to put up a budget to address needs of people. And I think that this budget that was presented did not address the current need, the future needs of the good people of Ghana.
Right.
And Justice, we have been introduced to a levy called the E-levy, or Dr. Bawumia levy, or however you want to call it, that all electronic transactions are going to be charged. There's going to be 1.75 charge on it to raise money for the government, so that the president can have enough to spend on his luxury, so that the vice president can have enough to just be organizing some of those lectures that brings nothing but hopelessness to the good people of Ghana. Justice, today, the NPP is saying that they need to raise 16 billion from the E-levy so that youth can get jobs. There can be entrepreneurship. They could combat cyber security so that they can improve on digital and infrastructure, so that they can improve on public transport. It's a lie. Justice.
Have you not confirmed what Dr. Bawumia has said in the video? That anything at all government comes up with, you would kick against it and say it's a lie.
It's a lie. Because what is a lie? I don't know the synonym for a lie, apart from it being a lie. Because, Justice, the government says that he wants to raise 100.5 billion in total revenue. And he's expecting to spend 137.5 billion. That is the government expenditure. Which means that there is a deficit of about 37.5 billion.
Yeah.
Now, in that budget, 37.5 billion is money that is going to be used to pay interest on loans that are due. 35.8 billion is going to be spent on compensations. That is salary for workers. And then loans that are due for us to pay, about 7.9 billion is going to go into it. And also, some of the statutory payments that we have to do, like Get Fund, road levy, and all those things that we road fund, and all the funds that we need to pay, is we need to pay about 26.8 billion. The total of that is 107.9 billion, which means that the total revenue that this government hoped to raise is not even enough to cover these things. And this, I'm talking about, this total revenue includes the 16 billion that the government hoped to raise through the E-levy. And that is taking care of just this. We've not even discussed goods and services. We've not discussed government units. We've not discussed the other things and the monies that will be used to pay for private jets, to pick the Sewa Brunis and their cronies and pick people, Hossein Adoye and Appiah Papon and whoever it is to go to the US to go and look for Trini Jonas. All that has not even been covered. And the government is saying that from the money that I will take, I'm going to use that 16 billion to go and to build roads, to create employment. And Justice, what do you want me to say about this? Apart from saying that, I think Dr. Bawumia will need to do us some favor by getting to at least the fact that, by the grace of God, I have had a certain level of education. But as a matter of fact, I still make effort to read, because if you want to be an expert in an area, it doesn't take just the knowledge of yesteryears, but its knowledge is progressive. And you need to keep abreasting yourself with current issues and things that are happening. Because, of course, you cannot tell me that at the face of this, someone should have confidence that if Dr. Bawumia and his MPP tax the people to be able to get about 16 billion from them. That is going to go into this. Apart from this being a lie, what is this? So this is my justification to say that what Dr. Bawumia said is a lie.
But they are not raising just that the entire money or the expenditure for 2022.
I'm saying that
out of the 1.75%.
I'm saying that the budget that was presented to us is a budget for 2022.
Yes.
And I'm saying that if the government is saying that he's raising 16 billion to do
the correct figure is 6.9 billion.
6.9 billion is coming from Momo. But 16 billion is coming from the entire electronic,
like the bank,
which includes the Momo transfer, the bank transfers, the merchant transfers, and the merchant's payment, and the inward remittances. So all that is 16 billion, but he hopes to raise 6.7 billion from Momo.
That of Momo transactions.
And that we need to make it
right. Go ahead and step down for me.
I'm saying that what Dr. Bawumia is saying, but you see, how did we get here? I was reading, I think the Auditor General's report indicated, and then I think we all need to go to it, that we lost about 13 billion in corruption in 2020. I think in 2019. So it means that if this government can take the fight of corruption serious, we wouldn't need to tax our people to pay 1.75 on all electronic transactions.
But why is it that when government introduces taxes, it becomes a problem for, citizens, and not just citizens, but some opposition parties capitalize on that to do politics? If you go elsewhere, they are building their countries with taxes. Why can't we do same?
We can do same justice. But you see, that is why I said that this budget is a general budget. It's a general budget because, justice, the government is saying, if I receive my salary, that has already been taxed, and I put it on my Momo, and I transfer money to my grandmother, my mother, and my grandfather, because I have all of them alive, and I send monies to them, and I send even 100 cedis, because today my MP has reclassified poverty, that if you have something around $19, it means you're a rich person. So if I can even have $19 in a day, if I can send $19 to people, then it means that I'm a very rich person. It tells you that Ghana, I am more bothered. That if I have $19, just as $19, then it means I'm rich. Then Ghana, I am more bored. That $19 can make me rich. But see, so it means that if I'm sending something $19 to my grandmother, and I send $19 to my mother, and I send $19 to my grandfather, I am going to be taxed 1.75
on
plus the charges from the telcos. So
kindly step down for me. Yeah.
Maybe the government may want to reconsider that. These telcos, what they receive from the transactions that we do, is a revenue.
I am struggling to understand the argument by the opposition. What is wrong with the 1.75%?
What is wrong is that what is wrong?
Tell me what is wrong. Let me
what is wrong? What is wrong with it is that a lot of thinking did not go into it.
Okay.
Because if a lot of thinking has gone into it, you wouldn't say that if I want to go and use my ATM to go and withdraw money from money that has already been taxed, you will charge me taxes apart from the bank charges. If you're saying that if I do a Momo transfer, you are going to tax me on it. Now, if I send money, like I was saying, if I send money to my grandmother, my mother, and my grandfather, I'm going to pay tax on it. If they also need to transfer that money to make payments, they're also going to pay tax on it.
Right.
And we say that we all find ourselves in times.
Very well.
Justice.
All right, okay.
We all find ourselves in times
right.
that this government has admitted that times are hard for us. And if times are hard for us, His Excellency, the Vice President, has also appreciated the efforts.
But don't forget that road toll has been scrapped by this government and all of that.
Justice, like I said,
NAPCO has been extended.
Like I said,
money to finance that one also.
Like I said, it is because Adjunasa.
Okay.
Because government is only not finding an efficient way to collect.
That's all right. Okay.
And to say
your time is up.
And to say
your time is up.
Justice.
Your time is up.
About 16 billion. About 16 billion is going to be spent on capital investment. From the 137.5 billion the government hoped to spend, only about 16 billion is going to be spent on capital investment.
Right.
Make this deduction. So if you are using, Mr. Isi was saying that we needed 3 billion to complete the educational project. What is 3 billion?
Yeah, your time is up. You use a lot of your time to deal with the other issue. I was prompting you on that.
I'm saying that, as I step down, I'm saying that this budget is clearly saying that Adjunasa and Memana Emre, and we need new direction. We need to change direction as a country.
Right. Thank you so much, Menu, for your submission. Because you kindly take us on. But, I mean, people are of the view that Ghanaians are already living in a very excruciating poverty, and that we don't need the 1.75%, electronic transaction levy that you are burdening Ghanaians with. It's rather going to make life unbearable for the ordinary Ghanaian. I don't know what you have to say on that as a government communicator.
Yeah, thank you, Justice. This is one of the most progressive budgets that I have seen. A budget that identifies a problem and takes steps to resolve and address the problems. The myriad of young people that are coming out of our schools, okay? We're looking at nothing less than 10 million of them, okay? Young people who are qualified to be in the working arena, and most of them unemployed. Okay, this is a budget, a Jinkwa budget, that is focused on helping these young people have hope in entrepreneurship, in getting jobs in NAPCO, Phase 2, in getting some work in the digitized arena, and all that. We are pushing about 50,000 of them into that arena, which will be championed by the National Communications Authority. So that is it. If I listen to somebody who is coming from a government, a party that taxed Akpeteshi in this country, a party that taxed Charlie Wati, a party that taxed cutlasses for farmers, a party that taxed condoms. Condoms.
Oh, no, allow him. He was quiet when you were making your submission. No, allow him. When you were making your submission, he was quiet.
And now saying, pontificating piety, that they care about the Ghanaians.
Isn't that the reason why they were voted out of power?
Good.
So don't forget that you promised the good people of... Please allow me. Don't forget that you promised the good people of Ghana that when you're giving the mandate, you change the country's economy from taxation to production.
Good.
Have you done that?
Yes, some of the inputs we are making is geared towards that, and I'll be touching on that. This benchmark values and co. Okay, it's for the protection of the indigenous business people, especially those who are into industrialization, factories and co-production in the poultry sector and in the soap manufacturing sector, the oil palm plantation and production of oil palm. Okay, these are areas that we need to protect. And that is exactly what we are doing. Now, Ghanaians, what we are saying is that, look, in the West African sub-region, and for that matter, in Africa, our, tax revenue to GDP is amongst the lowest, okay? And so we need to do something to be able to raise every country, if you're doing less than 20%, it's challenging, okay? It's challenging. The average in Africa is about 16.5. South Africa is doing about 26.7.
And then, you know, Senegal is doing about 16.4% and Ghana 12.4%. I think as of the last year, 2019, that's 2019. So 2020, I stand to be corrected, we got to about 14%. So we need to up our game, and that is what we are doing. Now there are issues too that we are making projections at this Momo levy and co. My brother, you see, we need to rebuild our country. And we have seen the devastation that COVID brought to us. But that notwithstanding, we are out of doomsday, which was, you know, meted on us for 4 continuous years. Okay? Doomsday is out. And so businesses can begin to focus. Okay? Businesses can begin to focus. That is the issue that we need to be looking at. And so this government is very much
kindly give me 5 minutes
on that. Thank you.
I'll wrap up.
Yeah.
Go
So we are expecting to raise about 6.96 billion in the 2022 budget. A la this e-levy tax on Momo. 6.96 billion. Then 2023, 7.89 billion. And then 2024, 8.92 billion. And then by 2025, we are looking at 10.09 billion, the Momo angle. Okay? That is the issue, the projections that we are making. Now, if somebody tells me we did not
what went into
yes,
taxing the electronic transactions, what went into
as we speak, the road toll was given us like 78 billion. Sorry, 78 million, not billion. Million Ghana cedis.
Okay.
Million Ghana. All the road toll and the inconvenience.
Annually.
Yes.
Okay.
Annually. The inconveniences that it brought to us was given us 78 million. So we said, look, why don't we find a more efficient way of raising revenue to meet our demands?
But certainly not through electronic transactions.
Why not? Why not through that?
You admit that a lot of people who use mobile money are poor.
Yes, I'm coming there.
And you are taxing,
we are factored by. It's not
those
true.
people.
It's not true. Those who are making that propaganda, it's not true.
I see.
Anybody who can remit $17 a day for 30 days is rich. You know why? The United Nations definition of the poor is anybody who spends less than $2 a day.
I see.
That's the UN standard. Anybody who cannot spend $2 or more in a day is a poor person.
On food.
You get it? And so if you can spend...
He's drawing your attention that it's on food.
I was sitting here when he was talking.
Right, so allow him.
I was just taking notes.
Your point is well noted.
Just as if you could accommodate me.
Listen, but your point... No, it is not your time. I won't. It's not your time. I won't. But I prompted him on what you wanted to say. He said, go ahead. No. Wait a minute. But you said it. You said on food.
It's on food.
And I prompted him, so allow him to go on.
So he said, go ahead.
He said, go ahead. Yeah, well noted. Well noted. Go ahead. Let's go ahead. Go ahead. I'll allow that. Let's go ahead.
If you can spend something, why? Which is the basic one? Is it not food?
So
if you have difficulty in getting food, $2 to get food, and you can do that, and you can spend $17 to remit somebody, and you tell me you are poor, we have factored, we considered all that. 30% of the Ghanaian using the Momo. 30%. When we have all these data, 30% of them are the people who send less than 100 cedis a day or 100 cedis a day.
How did you arrive at that?
Yes. So, is data not available?
Okay.
We have this all the telcos have all these data there. Okay. And it's not for nothing that we did that mobile money interoperability and all that. So we can have access to efficient, sanctimonious data.
But I don't think that MPP government should have any business with taxing people or taxation, because your promises were clear.
Yes.
That you are not going to be taxing people. Your agenda is to change the economy from taxation to production.
And we are on course.
So
the benchmark value, we have taken it off.
It has been.
You get it? We've taken it off. You get it? Do you know why?
DVLA tax has been increased to 15%. You know that.
You see, we are rebuilding after COVID. So all of us need to be, to make the sacrifices. Okay.
Right.
And benchmark, we are saying that we need to protect the local industry. Okay, and let me give you the example, viewer.
Let's get going.
If you have a poultry farmer who is crying, okay,
can you step down for me?
Yeah, you give him all the time here.
Right.
More than 13 minutes.
I'll give you 2 more minutes for us to go.
So if you have a poultry farmer in Ghana, and I decide, and the cost of production is so high, and I decide to go and import chicken, okay, because of the benchmark value, the cost of my importation of the chicken is going to be lower than the poultry farmer in Ghana, okay? And he's going to make his price not competitive. Again, the oil palm producer here, who produces oil palm for soap manufacturing, okay? If we decide that we are importing the soap, it's going to be less expensive than what he's going to do,
right?
Okay? If the benchmark value is not, taken out and is there, the importer is having advantage over the local producer. So how then do we advance when we say we are industrializing? One district, one factory. How then do they maximize their returns? Okay. So these are some of the things that we have considered, and we are looking at the young people, the 1 billion cedis that we are going to commit to that. Okay, getting jobs for entrepreneurial this day. We are giving you the skills and capital in addition to be disbursed by GEA and NEIP.
My time is up.
So these are things, progressive force that we have for the Ghanaian. There are a lot of points that I really wanted to touch on, but you are running for time, so
exactly.
we need to
we have some time to really deal with this issue.
But the last one is the print, print, the Friday wear, and those who do the manufacturing sector, the 2-year tax holidays that we are going to give them, so that we encourage the local production of prints and others. So these are very progressive thoughts that we've put in there. Anybody, anybody who can remit 100 cedis a day is not a poor person.
Right, thank you so much, Mr. Esi. We are so grateful for your time. Thank you, Mr. Esi. Thank you, Yamen.
It is very accurate.
Ghanaians, you have listened to them.
Yes,
and this is what time we allow on the program. Make a time with us. Same time tomorrow. My name is Justice Appiah. The show has been Hot News. Goodbye.